Welcome to Stratfor's podcast series, designed to bring you concise updates on the most important global developments of the day.
This is the Stratfor podcast. I'm Colin Chapman, reporting today on a detailed analysis by senior terrorism analyst Fred Burton. The British are to withdraw some troops from Iraq, but are also sending Prince Harry, third in line to the throne, to Basra. They'll also add to troop numbers in Afghanistan. And Australia reaffirms its support for America in both countries. But anti-war protesters in all three countries and Democrat presidential hopefuls in America continue to talk of an end to it all. So what does al-Qaeda make of all this? Mr. Burton makes the point that al-Qaeda leaders and the jihadist movement have always taken a long view of the war, and discussion of a US withdrawal from either Iraq or Afghanistan has long been anticipated. Long before the US invasion of both countries, Osama bin Laden clearly stated that in the jihadist's opinion, the United States wasn't prepared to fight a war of attrition. Prior to 9/11, bin Laden's public statements conveyed his dim view of the US military's capabilities and resolve, as well as its willingness of the US government, and to a larger extent the American people, to take casualties in a sustained war. In a 1997 interview with Peter Arnett, bin Laden said, "We learned from those who fought in Somalia that they were surprised to see the low spiritual morale of the American fighters in comparison with the experience they had with the Russian fighters." Propaganda, of course, but bin Laden's opinion of US resolve wasn't shaken by President Bush's shock and awe campaign that was unleashed in Afghanistan and later in Iraq. Bin Laden urged his followers to focus on the weakest elements of America, saying, "If you only strike 1/10 of them, the whole edifice will totter." One of the most vulnerable areas seen by al-Qaeda as public morale. Mr. Burton found a 2002 speech by bin Laden in which he discussed the importance of the media people and writers who have remarkable impact and a big role in directing the battle and breaking the enemy's morale. We don't know what has happened to bin Laden, but recent orders given by al-Qaeda's top man Mullah Omar and his tactical commanders to Taliban fighters in Afghanistan also reflect this mindset. They're told not to go toe-to-toe with coalition forces in battle, but rather to increase the costs of doing battle in order to hasten the withdrawal of Western forces. This is confirmed by internal al-Qaeda documents seen by Stratfor, which indicate that a US withdrawal from Iraq and Afghanistan is but one of the stages factored in the movement's long-term planning. One of the most telling documents was a July 2005 letter from al-Zawahiri to Abu Musab al-Zarqawi in Iraq, outlining a four-step strategy for establishing a caliphate in the heart of the Islamic world. The authenticity of the al-Zawahiri letter has been questioned by some, but our own analysis has led Stratfor to conclude it was genuine. The steps he outlined were: 1. Expel the Americans from Iraq; 2. Establish an Islamic Authority or emirate in Iraq; 3. Extend the jihad wave to secular countries neighbouring Iraq; and 4. Initiate a clash with Israel. So what these documents make clear is that even if the Americans withdraw, that's not the end of jihadist activity. In other words, at least as long as the State of Israel exists, and what are called the apostate governments in places like Iraq, Jordan, Egypt, Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, Algeria, Morocco, and remain in power with US support, the jihadists will continue to complain about US, quotes, aggression against Islam, unquotes. And insofar as they're able, they'll carry on their war. I invite you to read Fred Burton's analysis in detail on our website. It's well worth it. And that's the last podcast this week. Enjoy your weekend, and please join me again on Monday. I'm Colin Chapman.
This has been a presentation of Strategic Forecasting Incorporated. Please be sure to visit us at stratfor.com for access to more predictive, insightful global intelligence.